Good morning, Jesus. Thank you for waking me up with your touch. Lord, I love you so much. I'm going to share your love in all I say and do. My days begin with you.
A power of PMS moment. Praise, meditation, study with Lady Raine.
Hey, this is Dr. Lady Raine from the craziest station in the nation. Y'all know the Stella nominated station PRAYz.FM. And we are here in Tempe at the Tempe Marketplace at Barnes and Nobles. I am here with Jennifer Jaye, man. She's doing a book signing. Her book is You Can't Be Like Jonah. So we're going to talk with this beautiful woman of God about her journey, I guess it's here to Phoenix by God's ordinance. God told her and she did and she came. So first let everybody know who you are.
I am Jennifer Jaye. That is a pen name, so it's not my actual name, which some people don't know, but if you read the story, you'll find out. So I am married to my lovely husband, Howard Harris, and newlyweds, 8 months.
Wow.
I have 4 kids and 5 grandbabies, and they are in Kansas. I did not want to come to Arizona, but God said go.
Listen, talk about Arizona. This heat, especially today, it is like 110 degrees, y'all. Yeah, 110. 3 digits. Where did you come from?
I came from the Kansas City area. I'm actually from Lawrence, Kansas, Rock Chalk Jayhawk. And we do have all 4 seasons there and sometimes really hard winters. But I get sick really easy. And so I don't miss winter. I like Arizona heat.
Wow. So you're like me. We came from New York City. And so I say we went from 2 extremes. We went from the snow to the sun. So tell us and the listeners, what made you leave the snow and come to the sun?
Well, and Kansas isn't all snow. They do have a lot. They're really hot right now, in fact.
Oh, wow.
But I left because God said go, and he told me to move in lots of various ways. And it was very clear when I questioned, okay, God, if you're really telling me to go, and I'm not just a crazy person, I know you won't send me there without a ministry. And so I just said, so would you at least tell me what that is? And right then, that minute on the radio, they introduced that they were going to interview a man from Phoenix, Arizona named Gary Webb with OCJ Kids Ministries.
Wow.
And he mentors foster kids that age out of the system. And I was a foster mom in Kansas.
Wow. So look, I know people want to know this question, the answer to this question, because God speaks to people, but people tend to not know that it's God speaking. How did you know without a shadow of a doubt that it was God that was speaking to you?
For sure, when I said, I know you won't send me there without a ministry, and immediately, within a split second, that came on the radio, that really confirmed it for me. But the way that I know, God speaks to us through lots of different avenues, right? Mm-hmm. He speaks to us through his word, for sure, through other people, through circumstances, through prayer. So there's lots of ways that he speaks to us. And I think that the way that you hear him the best is because you're talking to him every day. So when you're communing with him and getting to know him, he draws near you and you know his voice. But as you read the book, I don't want to give it all away, but as you read the book, you will read all the different ways that he was telling me to move. And then really, there's some ways that were just like, wow, really, God? And then when I asked, and he gave me the ministry right away, that was a sure sign. But the book also goes through lots of other things that happened, like me not having any family out here and not knowing where I was going to live and go to church and all these things and all these miraculous ways that he answered each and everything immediately, which doesn't always happen. My prayers don't always get answered immediately. But just as quick as I would ask him, he was telling me every step of the way. So I knew there was a purpose in this journey.
So when you said he answered you immediately, right? So immediately could be, did he answer you as soon as you asked, or did you have to do something, and once you did something, then he gave you bits and pieces of it? Explain how that all happened. And what's the immediately?
Immediately in this instance with this story means I asked and he answered. And again, I don't want to give away too much of the story, but I'll give an example. I had come here to visit my sister lives in Connecticut. Mm-hmm. She's got a beachfront property, oceanfront property, loves it there. They're never leaving. They're going to stay there their whole life, right? And they're down here in a Verbo because Connecticut winters, lake effect snow, it's really bad. So they kind of travel and go see grandkids and different things. And they were in Arizona in a Verbo, and they said, we're down here. Come on down and visit us and see how you like it. You're thinking of moving here? Come on down. So I came to visit her. I'm driving home, and I'm just bawling, big crocodile tears. And I'm saying, God, I don't have any family in Arizona, and I don't have any money, and I don't know where I'm going to live. I had just bought a house. I was upside down in it because the market had already come down. Couldn't sell the house, couldn't pay rent, didn't know what I was going to do. But I'm going to go because you're telling me to, but man, I don't know what I'm doing. And less than 5 minutes later, my phone rang, and my sister from Connecticut, who lives on an oceanfront property that she's never going to leave, calls and says, guess what? We just bought a house in Arizona. And I was like, what?
Wow.
And she said there was an open house across the street from our Verbo, and we walked through it, and Rod said he thought we should buy it. So we did. And you can go live there. We're not going to be there for 3 months. Go live there.
Wow.
So now I have family moving to Arizona. I have a place to stay. My first 3 months here, they never even went back home. They had called a moving truck. They came and packed up their stuff, brought it down. It was all furnished. Dishes, bedding, linens, everything was there. When I moved in, the house was all set up, and she wasn't even going to be there for 3 months. I was just there. So he gave me not only a place to live, but a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house.
Wow.
And so it was like that. And the book will tell you just every step of the way he provided.
So let's talk about the actual writing of the book.
Okay.
When did you begin to write the book? Was it during each step, or was it once you done the process and you said, I'm just going to write it down? How did the journey of writing begin?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So he had told me when I was here visiting my sister in Arizona, he had first started speaking to me about starting a YouTube channel. And you can find me on YouTube at Moving Forward 1265. I didn't want to start a YouTube channel. I don't know anything about technology. I asked him to send me some help, and he said, no, I want you to learn. And so I did. And it's very unprofessional. If you watch the first one, it's a comedy. You'll laugh. I thought I could edit it, so I'm doing different things thinking I'm going to edit it out, and I didn't know how to edit it, so it's all just there. It's a mess. But in little 15-minute segments, I was revealing my story, which is what I thought he wanted me to do, is tell people all these miraculous things he's done. And so he also told me to write a book, and I didn't know when or how I was going to do that, but along the journey, and I won't spoil all of that part for you, but I ended up going to the Potter's House on my way to Arizona. And I know that Kansas to Texas to Arizona isn't a direct route, but I was able to go to the Potter's House, and Bishop Jakes wasn't there. I was sad, but I did get to meet Pastor Dobbins, and I had prayed, God, if I'm really leaving here and I'm not going back to Kansas and I'm really going to Arizona, I just want the pastor to come over and pray with me. And right then, kid you not, right then, he looked up at me, walked over to me, put his hand on my hand, and prayed with me. And then he put his other hand on my head and anointed me to go and share the gospel. And then he said, God's telling me to tell you that book he told you to write. He wants you to write it.
Wow.
And I went, whoa. I did go back about 6 months later, and I found him in the audience, and I said, I don't know if you remember me. And he said, you sat right over there. How's that book coming? He did not forget.
Wow.
So I knew God had told me to write it. I was able to go back to those YouTube channels and watch those videos and remember what I was feeling and the order of events and kind of that kind of stuff. So that was, I was like, oh God, you're so smart. Like it doesn't matter if anybody watches this, you did it so that I could have it all in, it's all right there in front of me. So I started writing when I actually got to Arizona. So
Okay.
it took me a couple of years to get it done, but yeah.
Wow. So we don't want to give away the whole book, because I could pull the book out of you and people, I don't need to read it. But what I want to leave with those who, one, God is telling you something, but you're afraid to step out. So that's the first question I want you to answer.
Okay.
Tell our listeners, or encourage our listeners and inspire them, that if they know without a shadow of a doubt, or if they're confused, what steps should they do to meet their purpose that God has given to them?
The biggest thing is do it scared. You're going to be scared. Do it anyway. I didn't want to leave. My grandkids, they were 10 minutes away. I could see them every day and watch them grow up and be in their lives. And of course I didn't want to leave that. But when God tells you to do something, it's going to be so much sweeter if you do it.
Yes.
And I don't know what might have happened had I not done it. Jonah ended up in the belly of a well. What might have happened had I stayed? I don't know. But for people that think they are hearing from God or not sure, spend more time in prayer.
Yes.
I want to inspire them to pray big prayers. Pray big, because you have a big dream, you have a big vision. It requires big prayer. Prayer moves the hand of God. And if he's put that dream in you, he's going to bring it to fruition, but you have to trust him and you have to spend time with him. If he opens those doors of opportunity, just like this, I would have never dreamed I'm going to a book signing and now I'm going to be on the radio. But when he opens the doors of opportunity, walk through them. Don't be afraid, because the longer you wait to be obedient, the smaller that window of opportunity becomes. Kind of like temptation, right?
Yes.
If you're tempted, he's going to provide a way out. You don't have to give in to the temptation. But if you don't immediately go through that opening that he's given you, the longer you wait, the smaller it gets until pretty soon you give in to the temptation. So it's really important to be in tune to God, be in prayer, spend time in his word. And then when you hear him speaking, go for it.
Wow. And then finally, how did you begin the steps of being an author, and where are you now?
Okay, so I began the step because he told me to do it. So I knew immediately I was going to be obedient to that. So that was the beginning, is just recognizing it and saying, yes, I'll do that. And then as God did, he opened doors, and I met a publisher and an editor.
Wow.
That I got connected to. It's in the book. You can read about how that happened. And she said, send me 30,000 words and I'll let you know if I'll take you, because not all publishers want you, right? They want to know you can actually write.
Right.
And so I was overwhelmed. I'm like, you need 30,000 words? But I did it. And, Word Doc will count your words. You don't have to count every word.
Yes.
So I didn't know that at first, but I learned. God teaches you.
Yes.
And so I sent her the first 30,000 words, and she said she would take me. And of course I knew she would, because God had told me to do it, but it was still really relieving to know, okay, she wants me. And so that was how I started. And then that was really helpful, because she was able to then direct me and go, here's where I want you to focus, or I need more explanation about this, or kind of, so she was able to give me direction, and that was really, really helpful. So basically, listeners, we're going to
close up, but I do want to leave these closing thoughts before she shares how you can get her book. So the closing thoughts that I got from her was, number one, when God tells you to do something, do it afraid. Do it not knowing. And if you are confused, begin that relationship with God, because as you begin a relationship with Him, you'll get to know His voice. And then trust Him. Step out on faith. As you start walking, He's going to make that vision clearer and clearer, and finally, He will open those doors. So do not stop believing in the voice of God, believing in yourself. If you got to do it, I say for me, if you got to do it with tears streaming down your face, if you got to do it afraid, you keep moving forward, even if it's a crawl. Okay, even if you're crawling forward, just continue to move closer to God, because He says, draw nigh to me and I'll draw nigh to you. So I'm not going to give away the story, but what I will leave is, you can't be like Jonah. She went 1,200 miles to obedience. So pick up the book, be inspired. You know, here we're PRAYzy, and we join with PRAYzy people to give you PRAYzy good stuff so that you too can go forth in what you do in praise. So Jennifer, let everybody know how they can purchase your book and stay connected to you and that YouTube channel. And if you got anything coming up.
Wonderful. So you can buy the book at barnesandnoble.com. You can also buy it on Amazon.com or Walmart online. It is in some of the Barnes & Noble's bookstores. You'd have to call and see if it's in yours, but they do have it on their website for sure. You can also follow me on my YouTube, which is Moving Forward, which you said, I love that you said, keep moving forward, because that's it. Moving Forward 1265. That's because Toyota has Moving Forward, and they didn't want to give it to me.
Oh, wow.
So it has kind of a funny name, but you can find me there. And then, what was your other question? I'm sorry, I've forgotten now.
What do you have coming up?
Oh, I am beginning my second book. I'm not going to, I changed this title so many times that I'm not going to tell you what the title is, because I don't know, but it is not like a sequel to this.
Okay.
It's completely separate, although it is still a true story and it's still a God story. But it's not necessarily a sequel. It's just another story.
Okay.
So that's in the works.
All right. Well, guys, the PRAYzy people, you've heard Dr. Lady Raine. I like to thank my guest, Jennifer, for coming on and sharing inspiration with you. Remember, tune in to us 24 hours a day. We're the PRAYzy station, PRAYZ.FM, and follow us at PRAYZ FM Live. God bless.
Are you interested in continuing your education, certificate, or degree that will prepare you for ministry and equip you in the marketplace? Come make Christ Central International University your home by registering to become a certified Christian published author, Christian life and career coach, chaplain, and get your bachelor's, master's, PhD degree. Visit us at www.myccu.online.
Music Fest International and Christ Central University is headed to the Dominican Republic for 6 days of music and the first alumni class reunion and graduation cruise on Carnival Magic. We will be making stops on the beautiful islands of Amber Cove, Celebration Keys, and Grand Turks. Join us March 1st through the 7th, 2026, as we port from Miami, Florida. Contact Sean or Dr. Lady Raine to reserve your spot today.
This is Dr. Lady Raine.
And I'm Dr. Pebbly Boo
from the craziest station in the nation, PRAYZ.FM. And I challenge you to join me in taking back our mind and taking back our body, and of course, connecting with the spirit. It's time to PRAYz.
You are tuned in to that PRAYz station, PRAYZ.FM, where we get our praise on. 24 hours, 7 days a week.